Well, a very good morning to you, everybody watching here on 360 Live from the East Coast of Canada. We're in Bedford, Nova Scotia. This is the 2019 Under-16 Girls Invitational National Championships. Hi, everybody. My name is Dan Hobson. Delighted you could join us here. It is an overcast day for now. The mix of sun and cloud later on. The humidex will get up to 35. It's at 30 now. Temperature right around 21 degrees. Game time temperature. It is Team Newfoundland. They are the home team in this one, taking on Team Nova Scotia in the blue. And, of course, the umpires here are Johnston is the home plate umpire, Conrad the first base umpire, and Matt Hingley is the third base umpire. We're waiting to get the first names of the umpires. We will get those worked out throughout the day. And let's get to that starting lineup here. First for Team Nova Scotia, they will be the visiting team in their home province. Jessie Paquin will lead things off. She'll be playing second base. Doing the catching, Leah Copeland, she'll bat second. Haley Strong, she'll be the first baseman, bat third. Abby Ashton is the center fielder, bat fourth. Caitlin Graves will bat fifth, the right fielder. Shortstop will be Maddie Dick. She'll bat sixth. Batting seventh, doing the pitching, Chrissy Hagan. Batting eighth, the third baseman, number 15, Claire DeReeb. And the left fielder will be Vanessa Dort, the left fielder, as we are underway. A strike there, so 0-1 to count to Jessie Paquin out of Tantallon, Nova Scotia. Says that making the 14 under girls Atlantic team, playing baseball in her first years, that one's a little bit high, right around the armpits there, or even the count at 1-1. We'll set that defense here for their Team Newfoundland in just a couple seconds here, folks. So the 1-1 delivery here from Katie Penny. Swing and a miss by Paquin. That's strike two, so she's in the hole 1-2. Might see her probably try to, spread that stance, try to do what you got to do just to make contact, just to keep it alive and maybe foul off here a few pitches. So 1-2 the count. Penny fires and deals again. Swing and a miss. Strike three. That's a good start there for Team Newfoundland. And now to the plate will be Leah Copeland. So as I promised, let's get to that defense, shall we? Bennett is the left fielder. Center fielder is Julia Chipman. Right fielder, Brianna Saunders. From third to first, it's Maddie Healy. Shortstop, Hannah Legg. Second baseman, Claire Dwyer. First baseman, Kayla Mazou. That's a base hit right up the middle, just out of the reach there of center fielder Julia Chipman. So we'll go to first base, and of course doing the catch in Jada Lee. She's no stranger. We played at this parks here a couple of years ago. Is under the 14s. As I mentioned on the pitching on the mound is Katie Penny. So Copeland gets things started off here for Nova Scotia with a single. So this will bring Haley Strong, the first baseman, to the plate. Penny with a look over there towards first base. And she's going on first pitch. And the throw was a little bit high. Sails to center field. The ball gets by the center fielder, but Copeland didn't want to risk it. Got a really good jump, and that's the thing here is you got to test these catchers early, and that's what the good idea here by Team Nova Scotia. This is a team that you have not seen before, of course. Let's see what the catcher can do. So you're probably going to see the Fruit Championships, especially on first day, that they're going to really go after and try to test those catchers' arms, see what they can do. Is a swing there by Strong there. And I can hear that the microphone picking up the wind. So the wind is going pretty well, blowing out towards right field. So wind could be a little bit of a factor. That just misses high. Even the count. 2-2, I believe. The camera location that you see, that is where our broadcast location is for these championships. Penny looks in, and just getting a piece of it there was Strong. She'll chip it back to the backstop, fouling it off. Penny set now. And that misses high. So it's a really good at bat here so far for Strong, really working the count. Once again, wind picking up. So Penny in the stretch already, so this is a good test right now early. stretch. Of course, you don't really get a chance to get as much onto it, and it's a ball ripped right up the middle, and Copeland is going to put on the brakes. In the meantime, Strong here was solid at bat, so Nova Scotia in business here with runners at first and third, one out, and this will bring center fielder Abby Ashton to the plate. Abby Ashton out of Hammonds Plains, Nova Scotia. Favorite team is Toronto. I wonder if Marcus Stroman is still her favorite player, as Marcus Stroman got traded to the New York Mets, and that's a deal that's worked out for the Mets. They're starting to surge in MLB, if you're following MLB along. Been playing for 10 years now. Coach going to come out and talk to Penny here and try to assess the situation. I think this is also probably talk to the catcher, because you pretty well know that on first go, Strong is going to be heading towards second base. They'll probably maybe try to either throw it to short here, maybe throw it to the pitcher, at least maybe try to see if they can get Copeland wandering there from third base and see if they could be able to pick her off. So definitely a good strategy move here. Abby at the plate, as we talked about, a Stroman fan, is entering grade 10 at C.P. Allen High School, just down the road here at Bedford, home of the Cheetahs. And just as I predicted, and they are going to, see, I knew that's what was going to happen, and they knew they were going to throw on first thing. The shortstop came up right away. They knew they weren't really going to get the runner, but just see if they could catch Copeland, and Copeland didn't fall for it, so still will go down to the stolen base. So now it is second and third here for Ashton. Also, an interesting fact about Abby Ashton is she also plays under 16 AA provincial ringette. So pretty well sticking to the baseball summer, ringette, hockey winter sort of thing. That didn't miss the knees by much, just a little bit low, but Ashton thought better of it. Newfoundland happy there. Their third baseman is in on the corner. That's it, but everybody else is back, so they're going to try to get an out and concede a run here in the situation, but in the meantime, Penny's just going to throw gas by Ashton. Not a bad crowd on hand for this opening game here of the championships. Still making their way in. Of course, that one swing and a miss by Ashton, and she'll be the second out here, strikeout victim, so this will send Caitlin Graves to the plate. And that's a big, huge out, because now all of a sudden the third baseman decides to move back. So sending Caitlin Graves to the plate. And once again, you can hear the wind start to pick up. So fly balls are going to be an adventure here today, at least here at the early start. As that one's down low for a ball, 1-0 to count to Graves. Caitlin Graves out of Yarmouth, Nova Scotia. Good history of baseball there. Used to be a team, the Yarmouth Gateways, and now, of course, some of the Yarmouth players now playing for the Shuros Island Schooners in the Nova Scotia Intermediate Baseball League, and they used to, a few years ago, they actually hosted at Atlantic Championships, 1400 Atlantics in Yarmouth, and also the Senior Men's National. When I talk about Senior Men's, I'm talking about the over 35, the in their 40s as well. Championships, they were weather-stricken and a lot of fog there, so there's a lot of baseball history there in Yarmouth. Graves there now in the hold. And she's going to be caught looking for strike three, so it was kind of one of those mixed innings there for Team Newfoundland. They started off good, striking out the leadoff hitter, and then a couple of hits. And then Penny came back and struck out the side, so no runs on a couple of hits. 2 left on. Story for Nova Scotia there in the top of the first as Newfoundland will come to bat. So let's get to that starting lineup here for Team Newfoundland Labrador. Batting first, the left fielder number 15, Megan Bennett. Batting second, first baseman number 20, Kayla Mizzou. Batting third and doing the catching number 10, Jada Lee. Batting fourth, the third baseman number 16, Maddie Healy. Batting fifth, second baseman number 17, Claire Dwyer. Batting 6th, shortstop, number 14, Hannah Legg. Batting 7th, the extra hitter, number 18, Holly Russell. Batting 9th.
We'd like to thank Rawlings for the White Pearl.
Batting 8th, pardon me. So 7th was Holly Russell. Batting 8th, the center fielder, Julia Chipman. And batting 9th, Brianna Saunders. And you already saw pitching for Newfoundland is Katie Penny. So let's set that defense up here for Team Nova Scotia. Christy Hagen on the mound pitching. So we'll go from right field to center field. So right field will be Graves. Then we'll go Ashton. Sorry, I'll try this again here. I'm having a hard time reading my writing. So Dort to left field, center fielder Ashton, right fielder Graves, and then from third to first, we've got Darib, Duck, Paquin, Strong, and Leah Copeland doing the catching. And as we mentioned on the mound, Chrissy Hagen. Now, Chrissy Hagen, sister Katie Hagen, of course, has represented Nova Scotia Nationals on the level, and she's a tremendous pitcher. Has, of course, the sight issue. But what's also interesting about Hagen's sister is that she spent this year playing for the Kentville Wildcats of the under-18 in Baseball Nova Scotia Blue Nose League. So baseball definitely in the Hagen family.
Of the first inning for Team Newfoundland and Labrador,
as
number 15,
Megan Bennett will
Megan
kick things
Bennett.
off here for Team Newfoundland Labrador. Looking to get first crack here and try to get something going offensively here against this Team Nova Scotia. There's a ball. It's hit the center field. It looked like for a second that it was almost like a Alphonse and Gaston routine as Dort and Ashton were sort of looking at each other. And of course, Ashton being the center fielder, she sort of patrols and sort of is a traffic cop out there. Took it at the last second, so one swing, one out. Kayla Mizzou to the dish. Oh, that didn't miss by much, just might have missed by inches. Be ball one there to the first baseman. Ball fouled off and evens the count. 1 ball and 1 strike. The wind continues to kick up. You can hear it on your, if you hear it on your laptop or whatever device you're watching, hey, it's basically, it's not lying, it's telling the truth. That's very windy start to the East Championships day number 1. Going to be ball 4, so Mizzou will take a stroll down to first base, a turn around and take a look-see, and nothing much going on there. So this will bring Jada Lee to the plate. Lee, as I mentioned, she was here at the under-14s a few years ago. Same ballpark, so she knows the stadium very well. She was actually here a couple of times a couple of years ago as a throw over to first. Not in time, but diving back in there was Mizzou. Hagen with another look over. That's the thing. We saw there earlier, and there goes Mizzou. They're going on pitch. Ball goes down. It's not clean throw, pardon me, and it's safe for Mizzou, and that's what you figured you're going to see. The thing is, Hagen even knew. She looked over and still stared and then went to the plate, and knew that it was coming. So now there's a runner in scoring position here for Lee. That's high, and having to go upstairs was Copeland there to come up with that one for Team Nova Scotia. That could have sailed right to the background, but she came right out of her stance. Good reaction time there by the catcher. Copeland trying to come up with a diving catch. A good effort there, but came up empty on that occasion. So another life here for the veteran Lee. Just getting a piece of it there was Lee there for Team Newfoundland and Labrador. Top female baseball player 2018 for baseball Newfoundland Labrador is Jada Lee out of St. John's, Newfoundland. Likes the Cubs, so a couple of years ago. There's a ground ball to third, firing over and getting the nice little scoop. There was Haley Strong from that throw there from Derebe. In the meantime, moving up to third was Mizzou. But a really necessary out as goes down 5-3, second out. This will send Maddie Healy to the plate here, the third baseman for Team Newfoundland Labrador, a runner at third. Maddie Healy, also out of St. John's, Newfoundland Labrador. She likes Cody Bellinger, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Dodgers having a pretty good year once again. Now they just got to be able to finish with a championship. They've had strong teams. This is a belt to right center field, and it's missed there by Graves, and it will go by, and that will score a run. That's that wind that I was talking about. It could play trick, especially slicing away. And Healy will get an RBI. It's one of those ones where that wind can be a little bit tricky, and it did. And this will send Claire Dwyer to the plate. 1-0 the score. You just have to trust me right now. It is 1-0. I've tried to get the scoreboard doing on that end, but it is 1-0 for Team Newfoundland. That ball's in the dirt. Copeland thought about gunning to first, but thought better of it. There's a ground ball to short. A little bit difficulty, but they'll still have time to get the lead runner. That Hindley punching it out there, so Dwyer gets a fielder's choice. But Newfoundland, they only needed like a couple of hits to get a run. They'll strand a runner after one inning of play here at the 2019 Under-16 National Girls Under-16 Baseball Championships here on 360 Live. My name is Dan Hobson as we head to the second. Due up for Nova Scotia is Duck Hagen Derebe. Maggie Duck, the shortstop here for Team Nova Scotia 2, leading it off. Not wasting any time. First pitch swinging. And it's right out to the left fielder, Bennett. And she had to get on her horse to come up with that one. Duck got a Halifax, Nova Scotia. One swing, one out. Chrissy Hagan, the pitcher, coming to the plate here in the 7th spot here. Chrissy Hagan, of course, says that her biggest influence was Katie Hagan. We talked about her. She says she doesn't have a favorite team, is in grade 9, and is plays for the Ontario Trailblazers, their senior women's tournament in Virginia, says her biggest accomplishment. Been playing the game for 11 years and just gets a piece of that one out of Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Interesting thing is if you had to choose what your walk-up song would be, she said Something Bad by Miranda Lambert and Carrie Underwood would be her song here. It's popped in the air. Pitcher Katie Penny comes up with it. And that's the second out. Claire Derebe, the third baseman, up to the plate now for Team Nova Scotia. Left-hand hitter, as you see. Swing and a miss. As gas thrown there by Penny makes it strike one. Other than that little tight mess, sort of a mess that she had, Penny has been throwing good. A couple strikeouts to boot. So definitely bounce back here for her. Reeb having herself a pretty good at bat here, trying to fight to prolong this inning. If she's successful, Dort is in the batter's box, waiting to come up to the plate here for Team Nova Scotia, trailing this one by a score of 1-0. We're working on that scoreboard issue as we speak right now here at Robert Lenahan Field. That one very low, and that's a good eye. Penny's thinking, well, maybe she'll go chase here. Not so much. Didn't fall for it. So Derebe still eyeing this. Gets a little bit of barrel. That could be trouble, and it will find Pater as it gets in between the third baseman and the shortstop. So that's pretty well all you got to do. Of course, Derebe says her favorite player was Toronto Blue Jays' Jose Bautista, and she enjoys making spray paint art. Well, I'm sure she enjoys getting hits, and that's what she has done, has gotten a base hit here. And this will send Dort to the plate in the 9-hole here for this game number 1 of the 2019 Under-16 Invitational National Championships. That ball gets away, but as you see, there is a very small foul territory, so there wasn't really much Derebe could do that time. And it's probably not in her best interest to try to do something here, because you've got you want to get this lineup turned right over to the top of the order. Penny sets. She's in the stretch. Fires. And there's a chopper that will just roll out of fair territory. One and one. The count here to Dort. And I'll check back over on Derebe, and Vanessa Dort out of Guysborough, Nova Scotia. She plans to be a physiotherapist. She only started playing baseball 3 years ago after really starting out since she was 3 years old playing softball. So that's quite an adjustment because really only softball really has 2 pitches, just a riser and a fastball. And then to make the change where all of a sudden it comes a little bit harder, they've got splitters and sinkers and cutters and everything. So to make the adjustment, it takes a little bit of a while, but she's made that adjustment and she's adjusting very well. She'll get a piece of that one and send it to the stands for souvenir. Actually, they'll return the baseball to, of course, the concession stands. Nova Scotia trying to get something going here with a 2-out rally. Runner on first. Penny sets, deals, goes high up, and Dort goes upstairs for it. And that's how that one ends. So Penny with her 4th strikeout of the game so far in 2 innings of play. So Nova Scotia, no runs. There's a hit, and they do strand a runner. As we head to the bottom of the second, the score remains Team Newfoundland 1, Nova Scotia 2, no score here at the 2019 Under-16 National Baseball Championships here on 360 Live. Those white pearls sailing across the diamond and out of the park are supplied courtesy of Rawlings, the official Baseball Canada, and all Baseball Canada National Championships. Rawlings baseballs have a full grain cowhide leather cover, special glaze seams, and quality wool windings. Rawlings is also the official bat, ball, helmet of Baseball Canada's national teams. The top hitter at all Baseball Canada Championships this year will be rewarded a Rawlings bat. Make sure to check out rawlings.com as we head to the bottom of the second here. Newfoundland leading by a score of 1-0. Going to work on getting that scoreboard fixed up here for you in just a couple of moments. There's a foul there by Hannah Legg, the shortstop here for Team Newfoundland Labrador. Just getting a piece. Hannah Legg out of Cowhead, Newfoundland Labrador, the 15-year-old. Once again, fouling off and out of play, so Hagen in the driver's seat right now here to the shortstop of Team Newfoundland Labrador. 0-2. Hagen not wasting any time, firing once again, fouling it off there is Legg. Think by the way that wind's coming through our microphones here, field level, you think that a tsunami or a storm or something was coming. Favorite player here for Legg is Vladimir Guerrero. Toronto Blue Jays swings and miss, can't get a piece of that one, so she'll be a strikeout victim, and that will be Hagen's first K of the morning, sending the extra hitter Hannah Russell to the plate here for Team Newfoundland Labrador. Left-handed hitter, as you see. Has been playing this sport for 8 years, starting high school this fall. Doesn't have a favorite team, really, to be honest, in Major League Baseball. So I guess that means, well, you're not really going to give you a hard time about some of your teams and how well they're doing in major leagues. Playing for the Chicago Pioneers for the past 2 years, won gold last year and silver this year. Your accomplishment from Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland Labrador. And the extra hitter in this opening contest here of the championships. Really not bad weather-wise. You take the wind away as Russell swings and a miss, so Hagen is now hoping maybe she can strike out the side as Julia Chipman, the center fielder, will come up here for Team Newfoundland Labrador. Another left-hand hitter. There's a ball that's ripped to second base. And a 4-3, so a pretty good inning there. Paquin wasted no time firing it over there to Strong, and that's just what the doctor ordered. So no runs, no hits, no errors, and no runners left on. 2 innings are in the books here at Robert Lenahan Field on a Thursday morning. It's Team Newfoundland 1, Nova Scotia 2, no score. So top of the third here. And right again, leading it off is Jesse Paquin for Team Nova Scotia, trailing this one by a score of 1-0 as we're in the third. My name is Dad Hobson, and glad you could join us wherever you're watching here on 360 Live. Live stream coverage of the championships here from Bedford, Nova Scotia. That's fouled back by Paquin. So Paquin started the game off with a strikeout, so she's 0 for 1 here in this contest. Trying to hold on here, but can as she's caught looking for strike 3, so 0 for 2 so far. So catcher Leah Copeland to the plate. She actually got the first hit of the game. She singled and got stranded at third there in the first inning. Left-handed catcher. Penny, of course, from the windup with no runners on base. Misses down low. 1 ball, no strikes. Just for a brief moment, the wind dies down. Maybe for the first time, and there's a pop in the infield. Running over his third base, Healy, and she misplays it. Overran it, but it's that tricky wind. As I said, it stopped for a moment, and then all of a sudden, so another life here for Copeland. That one is about a 57-foot pitch, as that just bounces in. Ball hit the right field, but only had to come in a few steps there was Brianna Saunders. So Haley Strong, she also got a hit and got stranded at second base there when 1-0 Newfoundland over Nova Scotia 2 as we are into the top of the third. Decided to go down low and came up nifty that time there. And that one's a little low once again, but good game plan here by Penny. You're going to chase one. Let's see if you're going to go how far you can go down and get the other one. Ball hit right up the middle and for a base hit. Thank you to our producer Brian Fisher for fixing the scoreboard for us. So Haley Strong having herself a day so far. 2 at-bats, 2 hits, sending Abby Ashton, the center fielder, to the plate. Out of Hammonds Plains, as we mentioned. Right head hitter. Strong going on first one. The ball's thrown down and it's overthrown. So far, Lee having difficulty really hitting the second base on the throws down. But runners unable to advance here for Team Nova Scotia. So Penny looks back. Now fires. Swing and a miss there by Ashton. Coming in a few steps there is Dwyer there for Newfoundland, trying to keep Strong there close to second base, making sure she doesn't really get a good, necessary big secondary lead. Penny once again goes high with that one, so this is what sort of happens. You get a runner on base, all of a sudden you have to pitch from the stretch, and sometimes you just sort of miss. You know, with that windup, you could actually, you know, have a little bit of momentum, but this time you have to stay stationary and not move so much, and sometimes the balls sail. There's a nice rip, and that's going to find the gap. And that's just what the doctor ordered, as Nova Scotia is going to tie this up, as coming around to score Strong, and Ashton's going to be in with a double. And that will tie this at 1. Graves to the plate in a 1-1 game now. So pretty well. Ashton and Strong just switching positions. There's now a runner on second. It's the right fielder, Caitlin Graves, digs in here for Team Nova Scotia. She struck out in the first, so for 1 so far this morning. Here from the Robert Lenahead Field in Bedford, Nova Scotia. And that's a pop fly. Lee having difficulty, did a little bit of a tilt-a-whirl and this, you know, maybe what you call the Tasmanian Devil sort of spin, but she came up with it, regrouped, and made the catch there for out number 3. So Nova Scotia, they got some business going in that inning. Thanks to an Abby Ashton double and a single by Strong. They end up scoring on 2 hits. They do strand a runner. No Newfoundland errors through 2.5 here. So we'll head to the bottom of the third. It will be Saunders. And then back to the top of the order, Bennett and Mizzou for Team Newfoundland Labrador. Providing support to many national sport organizations, including Baseball Canada, Sport Canada is directly responsible for athletes' assistance programs that provide support to elite baseball players while attending college or university. Sport Canada has been a strong supporter of Baseball Canada for many years and has contributed financially to many activities. A special play ball from Sport Canada. Of course, the Toronto Blue Jays continue to be an integral part in the development of baseball across Canada. Baseball Canada would like to thank the Toronto Blue Jays for their tremendous support to all Baseball Canada national championships, along with providing their expertise and advice, which continues to enhance the relationship between professional and amateur baseball in Canada. Please visit bluejays.com. Go Jays, go! Brianna Saunders there, not wasting any time, and coming up with a nice little play with shortstop Maggie Duck. Not an easy play. It was the wind picking up and swirling away from her and ended up making the play. So Saunders first out of the inning. Back to the top of the order for Megan Bennett here for Team Newfoundland Labrador. He said she's out of St. John's, Newfoundland Labrador. Bennett is. Big swing and a miss. Favorite player was Troy Tulowitzki. Of course, he announced his retirement earlier here in the summer, signing a deal with the Yankees, and still likes the Blue Jays. Plans to do Marine Institute Nautical Engineering for future plans. Swing and a miss for the St. John's, Newfoundland Labrador native. Been playing for 8 years, has made Team Newfoundland 3 years in a row. Now the umpires, Johnston and Conrad, coming together to talk about something. In the meantime, Copeland's going to go and have a word with pitcher Hagen. And on the check swing, they'll say that she went around, so that's 2 outs. Kayla Mizzou to the plate now for Newfoundland. She walked and then...
when you want to go back to the score,
As I mentioned, Mizzou walked and scored back in the first. As you see, it's a 1-1 count there from home plate umpire Johnston, and once again, wind kicking up, probably getting in the face there of some of the players, so they'll just... There's the pitch. A swing and a miss, and that will bring the count to 1-2. So now you just got to really shorten up the swing here and just find a way to put barrel on it. And there is a pop, and this is going right to the pitcher, Hagen. She handles that cleanly and says, I'll do this by myself, ladies, on the pop-up. Dead the inning. So Team Nova Scotia heading to the dugout and have a little bit of momentum there. There were no runs, no hits, and no Nova Scotia errors, and no runners left on base.
so no.
So we're almost halfway into this one here. Thursday morning, Bedford, Nova Scotia, 1-1 the score. Due up here for Team Nova Scotia, Maggie Duck, Chrissy Hagen, and Claire DeRive. And if anybody gets on, Vanessa Dort. Maggie Duck, she flied out to left field, 0 for 1, back in the second inning. Has to step back from that one there, so it makes the count 1 ball and 1 strike. A 1-0 pitch. Just getting a piece. Send it to the backstop and getting an up close and personal look. And a ground ball going right back up the middle, but some nice range being shown there by shortstop Lay. Comes up with the play. Makes the first out of the inning. Chrissy Hagan flied out to the pitcher to her counterpart there back in inning number 2. Looks at that one sail outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Dort, the left fielder, on deck. If anybody gets on here for Team Nova Scotia. There's a foul ball, but this is going to go out of play, and fans do a little duck, duck, goose to make sure they don't get hit by the foul ball. Once again, right up the middle, and it takes a bad hop there on Dwyer. Maybe having a little bit of difficulty there. Of course, maybe the first time on this field, not sure about the hops. She was maybe expecting it to come up, and it did not. So either way, Hagen's going to be classified with a hit, and this will send Claire Dureeb up to the plate. She sort of got things going there for Nova Scotia. She got a single there back in inning number 2. Left-hand hitter. So she's officially 1 for 1. Down trying to come up with that one and came up with nothing. Good aggressive swing. He's not afraid to grip it and rip it, you saw there from Dureeb, sorry. Stretch once again here for Penny. Sliding in is Hagen there with a stolen base. That's one I know that Dureeb was thinking, well, you know, I'd like to swing at this one, but Hagen just got such a good jump. I'll just make sure that she can steal that base. So rudder in scoring position now. Go ahead run right now here in the 4th inning at second base. Aggressive swing there by Dureeb and comes up nothing. So she'll be the second out of the inning. So it's up to Vanessa Dort here maybe to try to come up with something. here for Team Nova Scotia. Newfoundland struck early. They got a run there in the first inning, took a 1-0 lead, and then Nova Scotia bounced back there in the third on an Abby Ashton double. Now, the thing is, with these championships, they also have a pitch count, so you got to wonder where Penny is right now in terms of that. She's getting a pat on the back there, so maybe, hopefully, Coach and her come together. No, Penny will be done, so and she gets some applause here from her teammates. So pitching change, our first one of the game, along to Team Newfoundland Labrador. So Jada Lee will go over things here with the new pitcher for Team Newfoundland, and it's Hope Bishop Frizzell, the new pitcher here for. So Hope Bishop Frizzell, the new pitcher. So Penny will leave with a no decision here in this one, but she really gave Nova Scotia some fits, especially in the early, and then Nova Scotia made the adjustments, got that double there in the third, of course, to tie the game. But of course, this is sort of like you get into this, you know, championships like this, 12 teams, 4 days, you want to really save your pitching and make the pitcher be able to be available for championship, because they have the new format where you have to, if you throw a certain amount of pitches, you have to have 1 day rest sort of thing, and that's what you're going to see. Is you're going to see players probably and teams go through with just the regular 1 day rest sort of thing, so they can still keep the pitching fresh. So sometimes what that does for you is, even in a situation where you don't really want to, and, you know, for example, we'll use Penny's name as an example. She's pitching well, doing well, hits that magic number. Sometimes it's right around 40, right around 50, depending on which baseball association, of course. Hit that number, and then next thing you know, we'll have to get her out of the game. There's a comebacker right now of Hope Bishop Frizzell, and she'll handle that easily. And Dort says goodbye here, so Nova Scotia, they just get a hit in that inning. So bottom 4 we go. Still 1-1 game here at the Robert Lenahan Field. Day number 1, game number 1 of the 2019 Under 16 National Invitational Girls Baseball Championships here on 360 Live. My name is Dan Hobbs. Delighted you could join us here. Not a bad day right now, but I tell you, when that sun comes out, it's going to be a little bit of a scorcher. The humidity's at 30 degrees as it stands. Nice little wind coming off, but it's a tricky wind, giving the players some difficulties here on some fly balls. But I think the players are kind of happy for the conditions as they are right now. And sometimes, of course, you don't want to even see sunshine too much on a day like this, especially in championships, losing balls in the sun and stuff. So, with the exception of the wind, it's almost like a perfect baseball day, even though the sun's not shining. But that's speaking as a player. Of course, later on, we'll see Nova Scotia number 1 take on Alberta at 12 o'clock. That's second game on tap here today as Hagen's out here for a 4th inning. Jada Lee, the catcher, will lead things off here for Newfoundland Labrador. As I said, she's pretty familiar to this Robert Lenahan, Joan Lenahan Field. Strike there, says umpire Johnston behind the plate. No balls and 1 strike. Swing and a miss. Now she's going to have to shorten up that swing. And she says that her favorite walk-up song would be "This Is How We Do It" by Montel Jordan, but that's not the way that she wanted it done near this time. She'll go down as a chair is thrown her way. Caught looking, out number 1. Here's Maddie Healy. Maddie Healy grounded out there in the first, so she's 0 for 1. Attends Waterford Valley High and is aspiring to be a sports physiotherapist and travel with a Major League Baseball team. And that is a pretty good gig if you could get it. Pretty good even if you try to like stick around and try to do it for some hockey teams. You have a chance to travel all over the places. Hockey season coming up soon. Some people are happy. Us baseball people are kind of sad. Baseball season just wrapping up. Finishing stages of some league play, but of course it's the best baseball to be played right now. You've got some championships being played, and there should be some good ones coming up. Swing and a miss there by Healy. Says her biggest influence is her dad and coach, which is Mark. And that jams her. And it's a can of corn to second baseman Paquin, and she'll make that easy catch. Paquin, a familiar name, especially here in HRM. I remember Dan Paquin playing in the Metro Intermediate Baseball League for the Bedford team. They were the Bedford Outlaws. I'm not sure if they still are now, but Hammonds Plains A's intermediate team winning the provincial championships over the weekend. That's a really good team. Of course, it has a couple of former senior players, Nova Scotia Senior Baseball League players, and once again another pop, and that was easily handled there by Duck. So that's a good inning. It's nothing across there for Team Newfoundland Labrador. 4 innings in the books. So we'll head to the 5th. Due up for Nova Scotia, the leadoff hitter once again, Paquin, Copeland, and Strong. We head to the top of the 5th. 1-1 game. It's been a pretty good game so far. Pretty good defense there. Pretty good pitching. What a way to start off the championships here at day number 1. If you look out on the field and see those well-dressed umpires, we'd like to let you know they're wearing official umpire apparel from Kahunaverse Sports Group. Kahunaverse Sports Group is the official supplier of umpire clothing to Baseball Canada. Clothing is just one small part of Kahunaverse Group. Umpire supplies, equipment, shoes, and accessories, all part of their line as well. Get in the game with Kahunaverse Sports Group. So Hope Bishop Frizzle here in relief here of Penny. May only threw about 4 or 5 pitches to get that last batter, so she's still got lots in the tank here for her coming into this 5th inning, and so it's be interesting to see what Coach Healy does with, especially at this stage. You got a 1-1 game. You really don't want to try to go to another pitcher, and especially when Frizzle doing very well. So we'll see what the game management is. It's always an interesting game management. Jessie Paquin. Well, she wants to really prevent the hat trick. She struck out swinging in the 1st, looking in the 3rd, and here she is in the 5th, hoping to keep that hat trick, put it away. Make sure that doesn't happen today. Lee has a little bit of difficulty. Umpire still calls it a strike. Sometimes you'd like to think that you hear this, that if you can't catch it, doesn't mean that they actually had to move, so it may not have been a strike. So you hear that philosophy, but sometimes it's not really necessarily the case, as Paquin swings and misses, and she's now in the hole once again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bishop Frizzle. And just getting a piece was Paquin. Looks like she sort of shrunk her stance a bit here. She's trying to shrink that strike zone. It's working for her, so after getting in a little bit of a hole, she's fought all the way back here. Trying to get something going here for Team Nova Scotia in a 1-1 game. And fouling that, sending it out of play. This is sort of what you also want to do too, is like if you're Team Nova Scotia, you just have a pitcher that's just on relief, like Bishop Frizzle, make her throw a lot of pitches. Maybe you want to try and dig deeper into that bullpen there for Newfoundland and Labrador. What an at bat for Paquin. She got down in the hole and worked herself for a walk, and that's pretty well all you can do. And you know, next thing that's on Team Nova Scotia mind, let's get her to second base. Leadoff person. Leadoff hitter for Team Nova Scotia 2 is on as Copeland. 1 for 2. She singled into first, and then she's 1 for 3, pardon me. She singled into first, flied out to right field, and then struck out into third. 1 for 3. My apologies. Bishop Frizzle from the stretch. Going on first look is Paquin. There's the ball thrown down, and once again Lee overthrows second base. She's had a little bit of difficulty, but to her luck, no runners have been able to advance. So now you have a runner at second. Now, of course, Nova Scotia 2. Would you plan a bunt here? Try to get that runner over to third. Nope. Copeland swinging away. Will slice that just beyond the Team Newfoundland and Labrador dugout. Almost onto the Joan Lenahan field, which is just in front of us. Michael Petter on that sheet, giving you the call on that one. There's a ground ball. That gives and eats up. In the meantime, Copeland gets on, and that's an error at a really bad time to the shortstop. Hannah Legg, difficulty handling it, and it makes it first and third. Haley Strong, she has been strong here in this one. Two singles so far, 2 for 2. And there, they did get Paquin in a rundown here, and you're going to see that a lot. And she's tagged out there by the catcher. We talked about it earlier in the broadcast. She has a little bit of a chuckle as she goes back as she fell for the bait, thinking that Lee was going to fire down. In the meantime, they do get the lead runner, but Copeland moves to second, but Paquin out as a dead duck on a rundown. Good single here, could have scored two. Now, of course, they will give Nova Scotia just a 1-run lead, so kind of a little bit of a costly one for the team from Blue team. Fouling it back there is Strong. Oh, there is a rip to center field, and it's beyond their reach, so they're going to send Copeland. She's going to put on and turn on the horse, and she'll score, and running into second base with a double is Strong, continuing that strong game. The air kind of hurts for Team Newfoundland, and it makes it 2-1. Abby Ashton, who tied the game of her double, coming to the plate now for Team Nova Scotia. She struck out in the first, got that double in the third, so she's 1 for 2 so far this morning. Bishop Frizzle with the throw, and that's down low. Deals. 1-0 count. The center fielder maybe trying to give a little bit of an insurance run here for Team Nova Scotia. Well, just one down. Frizzle, after looking good there to come on in the late stages of that fourth inning, it's been a struggle. Walked the Paquin. Of course, the air didn't help there, and the one that was hit up to the shortstop, that leg had difficulty, and then, of course, the double here by Strong. So defense and pitching, they'll win you championships, but sometimes you just have a little bit of difficulty. And when you don't get it, they can be costly, and the air has really come around and is so far the difference maker here in this one, in this 2-1 game. There's a foul ball, almost comes right to our, close to our broadcast location. Johnson letting you know, of course, what the count is. 2 balls, 2 strikes here to Ashton. Goes down. They'll throw it down to make it official, but boy, oh boy, the throw by Lee goes off, and all of a sudden, another error here by Newfoundland, and it's 3-1. Ashton reach and double. You don't often hear this actually said in baseball ever. Ashton reaching second base on a strikeout as they were trying to make it official. And coming around there was Strong, and this is where things get a little bit eerie, especially if you're a fan of Team Newfoundland Labrador. Errors coming to hurt you so far. The errors have been costly. 2 errors, and that's the difference makers here so far. Graves, 0 for 2 so far this morning. Struck out in the first and flied to the catcher, Jada Lee, in the third. Hasn't been really what you call a great game for Graves, too. She had difficulty handling one of the fly balls, and of course that helped in Team Newfoundland getting their 1 run so far. So, but she could put it all away here with a hit. They'll send it down to leg, and she'll fire it over to first base. And Graves are now 0 for 3. Just what you always wanted as a player. You may have a chance to maybe not make a play. It was a long time for touches there for leg, but showed no ill effects. Still the confidence is there. And that's the second out as Duck will come to the plate. Fly to left and grounded out to short. 0 for 2, the left-handed shortstop. Thought about offering. Kept the hands back. Strike 1 as the dirt kicks up, and Lee takes the mask off as once again wind blowing up here at Robert Lenahan Field. So Hope Bishop Frizzle came in. Got the last batter, but it has been a test here so far. Now she is ahead of the count here to Duck. No balls, 2 strikes. Ashton at third. The ground ball to short. Leg once again. Firing over, and that's a good bounce back for her. She retires the last 2 outs there. She did make an error in that inning. There actually was a couple errors for Team Newfoundland. So results in 2 runs. Just 1 left on. And only 1 Nova Scotia hit there in that top of the 5th. Nova Scotia, as you see, coming out to hit the field here for the bottom of the 5th. And they're leading this one by a score of 3-1 here at the 2019 Under 16 National Invitational Girls Baseball Championships here on 360 Live. My name is Dan Hobson. Delighted you could join us wherever you're watching here at 360 Live. We'll be here for, of course, the whole championships, and we'll have the championship game for you. And that one will be on TV1, so we're delighted to bring you the full coverage and of these championships. Due up for Newfoundland Labradors, Leg, Russell, and Chipman. Wind was really, the start things was, my apologies here to Team Newfoundland Labrador. It's Frizzell. I was saying Frizzle, but it's Frizzell. So I want to apologize on that one. Hagen still pitching strong.
Outfield.
Claire Dwyer actually starting it off. Dwyer, Leg, and Russell. First 3. Dwyer, the second baseman, wants to join the RCMP, specifically in forensic studies. Hits one to center field, and climbing the ladder, Abby Ashton had to go up high and has a little bit of a chuckle there with Paquin. Thinks she knows she might have got away with one. She misread that one, but had to go up and use her arm to outstretch that one, and there's a rip. And Ashton, once again, it's the Ashton show. F8, F8. 2 outs. Holly Russell to the plate. Ashton hoping, hey, let's fly it and send it out to me once again. Says Bruce Golding was her biggest influence. Holly Russell at a Grand Falls, Newfoundland Labrador. Talked about her playing for the Chicago Pioneers past 2 seasons. Says that her pop and Bruce Golding were her biggest influence. Feel a little bit of a mist coming into our broadcast location. So, of course, there was a chance of showers. That was in the forecast. It's going to be a mix of sun and cloud later, and the sun will come up, the humidity will get out, going for a feel-like temperature of 35 degrees. Hagen deals. Copeland trying to freeze it there for Johnston. He doesn't bite. 3 balls and 1 strike here. just getting a piece. Well, that will make the count full now. 3 balls and 2 strikes here to Russell. If she gets on, Chipman will come up here for Newfoundland Labrador. And she'll go back to the dugout, a strikeout victim. So Hagen starting to put up some zeros. Sometimes you see that. You start off the first inning and not maybe the best inning to try to get to pitchers early. First inning, she, of course, gave up that run on a couple of hits, but since then has put up 4 straight. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no runners left on since the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th inning. So we'll head to the top of the 6th now. Nova Scotia is still leading this one by a score of 3-1. For Nova Scotia, it will be Hagen, DeReeb, and Dort due up. The tournament's top defensive player and top catcher will receive a Mizuno glove. Mizuno is the official glove and catcher's equipment supplier for Baseball Canada's national teams. More than 200 professional baseball players depend on Mizuno baseball equipment every day to perform at their game's highest level. Visit MizunoCDA.com. So that's MizunoCanada.com. What a weird day this is in Bedford. You feel a little bit of drizzle and the sun also starts to peek out just a little bit. Top of the 6th we are at. Another pitching change here for Team Newfoundland Labrador. They have Hannah Legg now coming on to pitch. So that will change things defensively right now. Hope Bishop Frizzle will now move into Holly Russell's spot in the lineup. Bishop Frizzell. So she will bat in the 8th spot, take 3rd base, and Healy will go to short. Would be as Hagen coming in here, as I said, really hard to take Hagen out as another miss comes up. Robert Linehan Field. Close stance here for Hagen. Pops it up, and will just get out, and some of the Nova Scotian fans ducking, and it didn't miss them by much. Luckily for them. Goes upstairs. Hagen couldn't resist. So swings at a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Just getting a piece and staying alive there is Hagen. So now your team Nova Scotia, Hagen's pitching a deal of a game, and what do you do? Because you know that the pitch count is definitely getting up there. Probably know that you won't have her maybe definitely for your other game, because that Nova Scotia 2 has 2 games today, same as Nova Scotia 1 has 2 games today, and we'll have both of the Nova Scotia teams here on Robert Linehan Field. And I'm sure they're keeping close, accurate track on that. That one's low, and Hagen works herself for a walk. Get some appreciation. Claire Derebe. One for two. She singled in the second and struck out in the fourth. 1 for 2. Lee thought about firing down and decides not to. Strike one there to the third baseman. Looks down for a sign, pretty well swing away. In the meantime, throw back over to first, check on Hagen. There was leg. Well, the team liked it, but the umpire judged it. The long arm of the law didn't. Sometimes you'll hear players say hit again. It's like, well, you don't really want to hit the same location, so you can get a little bit closer in, or maybe get a little bit closer out, see if you can actually get it. But nothing really funky about Johnston's strike zone here this afternoon, this morning. Been pretty consistent. And unfortunately, it's tough to be an umpire these days, but when you don't hear complaints about you, you know that's when you're doing a good job. As that's fouled back there by Derebe. This being a national championships at Derebe there with a base hit. Hagen moves up to second. Sends Dort to the plate. He's talked about Dort being from Guysborough, Nova Scotia. Well, Coach Healy thought about having Mizzou play back, and then thought better of it. So now she will hold Derebe on. Lee with a fake, pump fake. Ball one there to Dort. And Dort trying to go down the right field line and tucks it in. And that will have extra bases written all over it. Hagen rounds third and scores. Derebe to third. And Dort with a double. We're up to 4-1 now. So back to the top again to Jesse Paquin. Strikeout victim the first 2 times at bat, in the first and the third, and then walked in the 5th. You have a funny feeling Hannah Legg here is just trying to hold the fort here. Dwindling down here, so we're getting to the late stages of this one. Game number 1, day number 1. A bouncer that gets by Lee, and short backstop as you see. So no advancement here by Derebe and Dort. There wasn't even a thought on the mind. Didn't really get a chance to really address Dort's at bat. You know, sometimes if you take it outside, a lot of these days hitters are trying to go hit it as far as they can, become pull hitters and trying to hit it far. She just trusted her hands and put it right out to right field and got extra bases on it. Paquin not sure if she'd like the call on that one. But it's a 2-2 regardless from umpire Johnston. There's a pop and just shy of our broadcast location. Paquin not sure about what future plans. She definitely wants to finish high school. Of course, that's, a given, but what do you want to do after that? She's not very sure. Right now, she's thinking more about how to lock in here on leg, here on this at bat. That's a bouncer by Lee and Lee has to go and retrieve it. Once again, that short backstop. You got to get a good secondary lead if you're thinking about going on a pass ball here on this field. It's probably only about a 10-foot backstop. Probably you could say one of the shortest backstops. Leg deals again. That's high. And Paquin works herself for a walk. So 2 strikeouts, 2 walks. Nothing out for Team Newfoundland Labrador. And Healy's got to go to the mound again. Of course, Team Newfoundland Labrador, they have tons of spares. They have Summer Mosier, Mackenzie Byrne, Victoria Hall, Vokey Woodman, Steph Pelly, and Madison Lockyer on the bench. So far, of course, they've used Hope Bishop Frizzell. Johnston there trying to come up to break the meeting up here between Healy, Leg, and Lee. A little bit of a chuckle there to the umpire. So Copeland, the Fall River, Nova Scotia, not too far away, so her parents are here in attendance at this one, and if they're not, then it's wandering was Dort. Too far off second base. They pick her off. She's caught stolen 2-6. A much needed out. And some of the base running and some of the base running things, I'm sure, is one of the things here that Coach Jenna Jackson would like to improve. Copeland, as I mentioned, she'd like to do kinesiology in university. Likes Freddie Galvis. Of course, Galvis no longer with the Blue Jays. A break in there was Paquin. She'll easily take second base. The Lee fake coming down, and unlike Paquin did the first time, Derebe didn't fall for it. There's a pop there to the pitcher, and Leg makes that one. And just like that, it's the second out. Haley Strong having herself a strong game, if that's of course is a very bad one, but 3 singles, actually got 2 singles and a double, 3 for 3. Having a strong game at the plate there, as I mentioned, and this time they're just going to put her on, so the old intentional walk, not going to have her deal with her, so they'll just give her the old intentional walk. Kind of miss the days of the, where you threw the pitch and it went wide or something, and of course runners could advance, or the opportunity for the player, if he wanted to extend his bat to try to get a hit. That's taken away, but it also saves a pitch count, so I kind of see for it. Umpire Conrad there had a brief word, I think, and I think there was a balk called. Yes, there was. So Derebe will come in and score, and that will make it that'll make it 5-1. Haley talking there with Conrad. Johnston coming in on it. Umpire Matt Henley, he's just happy to stay down at third base. Matt Henley, of course, a former high school player, played for the CEC Cougars. That's a high school boys team a few years back. Has made the transition to umpiring. One of the good, fine umpires around. He's definitely an honor for him and to be here at these championships. Haley still pleaded his case here to Conrad. This is a good long conversation, so it's he could probably talk it over till his face turns blue, but it won't change the situation. And this will send Abby Asher to the plate. Struck out in the first, had that double that brought in the tying run at the time, making it 1-1. And since then, Nova Scotia 4 straight runs. This time she goes right up the middle. And Maddie Healy will throw her out to first. So the first time that she's retired today. But what an inning it was for Nova Scotia. They sort of blew this one open there in the 6th with 2 more runs. So it makes it 5-1 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. So Team Newfoundland Labrador hoping to get something going. Hope, Bishop, Frizzell, Saunders, and then back to the top of the order, Bennett due up. And Hagen once again. So it looks like they're going to go along with her here in this one. As the wind picks up here, Robert Lenahan Field. So if you're just joining us, you're watching the Under-16 National Provincial Girls Baseball Championships here on 360 Live. My name is Dan Hobson, delighted to join you. Newfoundland Labrador, they struck early in the first inning. They made it 1-0. And then Nova Scotia bounced back in the third, tying it at 1. And then since then, Nova Scotia with 2 runs in the 4th, 2 runs in the 5th, pardon me, 2 runs in the 6th have sort of opened this up a bit. As Julia Chipman comes to bat. A ground ball back to Hagen, and she takes her time and fires over to Strong. I made a mistake, I wrote it down in the wrong area. Hope Bishop Frizzell will bat in the 7th spot, not the 8th spot. That was me in the making an error. My apologies on that one. So 1 out. Brianna Saunders here. First time the sun has been really strong here at the Robert Lenahan Field in Bedford. Just off the highway if you're familiar to Nova Scotia. So if you're ever heading to HRM from places such as Pictou, Amherst, or maybe even from New Brunswick, that ball field that you see in the Bedford area just before you, a little bit of a flatland, and there's a pop fly, and Copeland had a little difficulty trying to find that originally. It will sail to the back. Oh, Copeland trying to freeze it there get a good look for Johnston to take a look at it, and Johnston not biting, but he has been consistent. Really good game here by the blue crew here of Johnston, Conrad, and Henley. And it's not often that you see like the coach come out and talk, but obviously the pitch count got up there too high there, so Hagen's gonna exit this ball game. But 2 hits, and those were in the first inning, and she has put up 0 since then. Abby Ashton, who started this game at center field, will now come on to pitch. So this will make some defensive substitutions here for Team Nova Scotia. McFadden will come into the game. She wears uniform number 12. Just going to try to figure out what position she's going to play, whether they're going to move one of the infielders out to play center field for her if McFadden's playing the infield. McFadden will take the 7th spot. Elle McFadden will take the 7th spot in the order. She'll play right field. I see McFadden is out to right field, bat 7th. So Elle McFadden into the game. Out of Hammonds Plains, been playing for 9 years. Emily McFadden is her oldest sister, her biggest influence. So she'll play left field. And moving from left field to center will be Vanessa Dort. And Graves will stay in right field. That's the defensive changes and substitutions. And Copeland wants to have a chat here with Ashton. Go over signs. Now Conrad say, well, you're going to have to remove some of those wrist things because you can't wear batting gloves or any wrist pads or anything on the wrist when you're pitching. So she may still have a little bit of difficulty getting those things off her. Guess she didn't know that she was going to be on the pitching docket here today, but that's A-okay. So that's the reason for the delay, of course. Clean wrist. You see Johnston there also showing the reason why. This is what makes the sport of baseball so great. You go to the park, you see things that you don't think you will ever see again. It's that some of the jewelry you use a little bit of difficulty. Now they finally get scissors, and I know Ashton's probably saying, well, I've worked hard to get these on my wrist, and I have to cut them up now? Yep, you got to. At least the players are having a good laugh over it. Nova Scotia 1 making their way down here to the dugout area. Of course, they will be playing in the second game here, taking on Alberta. Alberta, that's a strong baseball area. Might have Nicole Luchansky join us for color on that. Now this has got to sort of affect both teams because I mean the thing is that Nova Scotia they've been on a roll pretty well since that second inning and have a little bit of a delay like this as they guess you'd say maybe friendship bracelets. Do they still wear friendship bracelets? They were friendship bracelets back when I was in school back in 19... Well, at least we're not bee delayed. Did you guys ever see that, like in the a few months ago, like the bees that were attacking in that San Diego Padre game on a Sunday afternoon? That was nuts. 45 minutes delayed because of bees. Ashton now having a laugh. In the meantime, the Brianna Saunders at bat continues here for Team Newfoundland. That's a strikeout and a throw down, and nice little hops there by Haley Strong to bring it down. Ashton comes in, one pitch, and it gets the strikeout. Back to the top for Megan Bennett. So far, nothing in the bonnet for her. 0 for 2, a fly out to center field, and struck out in the third. Actually, they do have Hope Bishop Frizzell. She'll hit this one to second. And we'll fire her over. So nothing across for Newfoundland. Not what they really wanted. They need to get some runs. They're trailing this one by a score of 5-1. 6 complete here at Robert Lenahan Field in Bedford, Nova Scotia. As you see, Lee and Legg talking it over just before the start of the 7th inning. Third pitching change. Of course, this is so far Penny started it off. She pitched very well, and then Frizzell came in, had a little bit of difficulty, and Legg here trying to clean it up here and at least give Newfoundland some innings so they don't have to go to another pitcher here. Leggs began the game at shortstop. Wind once again picking up. Overcast day, some threatening skies, but also some blue skies. It depends on which direction you're looking at. Blue on one side, dark on the other. Yeah, it breaks the sunshine to sort of start things out. Be Graves, Duck, and McFadden. For Nova Scotia here, top of the 7th. Be interesting if Team Nova Scotia decides to still, stick with Ashton there and save on pitching there. They have a couple of other pitchers. Of course, the only other players that they have is Ali Pelrine, Elias Strong, Eve Taylor, and Savur. So here's Graves. 0 for 3 this morning. Hits a ball up the middle, and that's beyond the reach there of Dwyer and goes into right field for a base hit. Sun comes up, Graves gets a hit. Maggie Duck. Flied out to left field in the 2nd and then grounded out to short back in the 4th and back in the 5th. Left-hand hitter. Not much of a lead here by Graves. Ball does get away from Lee. Lee's going to have a chance to fire. And now Graves is in no-no land. In a rundown, but unable to handle it as Mazou, so she'll get to second base. Not the way that, of course, Coach Jackson drew it up, but it ended up being a stolen base. As I said, it's a very small backstop, not a lot of room to maneuver, and Graves thought she could get a good jump, and give Lee credit for getting to it. This is sliced back up the middle for a base hit. Duck. And just like that, it's first and third. Ellie McFadden. I was saying Elle McFadden, my apologies. Ellie McFadden now comes to the plate. Her first at bat. And going up to second base is Duck, of course. Oh, McFadden with a slightly closed stance. Gets a piece, it goes to the backstop. McFadden out of Stillwater Lake, Nova Scotia, 14 years of age. Elle looks at that one, and that one's down low. Represented Nova Scotia at the 2019 Eastern Canadian Ringette Championships and representing Nova Scotia at the 2018 and 2019 16 Girls National Baseball Championships, which is what you're watching right now as that ball gets away from, and Graves will come around, touch home plate and score. And that makes it 6-1. Pitch meeting on the mound here for Team Newfoundland Labrador. They're going to make the change. Coach bringing the glove, so Leg's going to be coming back in to probably play short once again. Zoe was playing first base. Looks like she'll finish this game on the mound pitching, so there'll be more defensive changes here for Newfoundland Labrador. 6-1 game. To a good start, but 6 straight here for Nova Scotia. As you see him, Mazzo taking some warm-ups. Still waiting for the public relations here to. Looks like that Healy will go over to first base. She was playing shortstop when. So that is the case. Lots of defensive changes now as Jada Lee is actually now at third base. And in the meantime, will go down a strikeout victim and be out number 1. Claire Drebe, the third baseman, back up here for Team Nova Scotia. And she's not having herself a bad afternoon. She's had a couple of singles and a strikeout, 2 for 3. The bottom of the order coming through here for Team Nova Scotia too. So Duck at third. Drebe looks at a strike. Oh, it's fun when the wind kicks up. Oh, just out of the reach of Lee. She went and she got on her horse, but just not enough real estate, not enough airtime for that ball, but a good play here by Lee. Mazzo deals, and there's a right back to leg. Leg's going to try to go home, try to get that runner, and throw that's in the dirt. Steph Pelly unable to handle, not the cleanest throw, and the run comes in to score. I'm not sure they would have got her or not, but Drebe will get a fielder's choice as Vanessa Dort will come up the left fielder. And another run makes it 7-1. Seven straight for Nova Scotia. No pitch as the time was called. Umpire wasn't quite ready. Actually, they're going to call balk, pardon me. Balk called, so this will move Drebe up to second base. Second balk of the game here for Team Newfoundland Labrador. That's high. So it's officially 1-0. Not much of a discussion here by Team Newfoundland after that ball called, and that's high once again, right at the eyes. For Newfoundland, they'll have Mazzo, Lee, and Healy due up. The bottom of the 7th. Backing out was Dort, but does get the inside corner there. Strike, so it makes it 2 balls and 1 strike here to the left fielder. One for 3 as she struck out in the second, and then she grounded out to the pitcher in the 4th. Did get a double there in the 6th, but got picked off. That one's high once again above the batting helmet. Makes it 3-1. So Dort has a little bit to play with here. Dort will go right over the middle and back. Drebe wanted to make sure it went through, and it did. So she stayed at second base, so she couldn't come around the score, so she's happy to stay at third now. Jessie Paquin to the plate. Paquin, as I mentioned, 2 strikeouts, first and the 3rd, and then walks back in the 5th and 6th. So officially 0 for 2. Hold the runner here in a 6-run game. Well, the thing is, if under 16, and of course with those pitching rules that we talked about earlier, anything is really possible. So Dort's going. There's the fire down there by Pelly. And it's well short of the bag, so they had something designed, but Nova Scotia's not picking off. That's one of the things, is if there's anything that you want to give Nova Scotia criticism for, they have been a little bit nonchalant, pretty cool on the base. Got caught a couple of times, but other than that, it's been sort of like a pretty good performance out of them. But something they want to probably fix as the championships go on. Mazzo looking in to Pelly. Deals. Boy, Mazzo's cutter is pretty impressive, wouldn't you say? It's just all of a sudden the batters have, for Nova Scotia, bailed a couple of times, but it just gets that inside corner. So doing well. Fires. There's a ball right up the middle. Leg has it. Fires over to Healy in time. And that will score Derebe. Dort moves up to third. A note to get a run. Makes it 8-1. Copeland singled in the first, reach on the year in the fifth, and then had a strikeout in the third and sixth. That's a foul ball, and you could hear first base umpire Mr. Conrad clearly indicate that it's foul. Now in the box here. Healy has a little bit of difficulty. Can she get to the base in time? No, she won't, and another run comes in to score. Infield hit for Copeland. And another run makes it 9-1, so it's hit by pitch for Haley Strong. So pitcher Abby Ashton, who tied this game back in the third with a double that scored Haley Strong. And Coach Haley out again to the mound. Another pitching change. So this will be the fourth pitcher here this morning here for Team Newfoundland Labrador. Madison Lockyer now on the mound for Team Newfoundland. Lockyer out of Mount Pearl, Newfoundland Labrador, the 15-year-old. Would like to be a junior high English teacher. Favorite player is Marcus Stroman. Wonder if he still is. Out of Mount Pearl, Newfoundland, she is. Says that she lost a tooth to baseball back in Mosquito. I'm sure there's probably a lot of scars there in this sport. In my day, I broke my nose a couple of times. And there's actually a scar just above my eyebrows. The eyebrow kind of hides the scar, so I feel your pain here, Madison. But I still love the game and still delighted to be calling these championships. My name is Dan Hobbs. Delighted to be in Bedford, as I mentioned. This is the Under 16 National Invitational Girls Baseball Championships on 360 Live. If you're just joining us, you see the score in the corner is really not any indication. Newfoundland actually led this game 1-0. They got a run there in the first inning. They got to Chrissy Hagen, and then Hagen threw zeros after that. And then Nova Scotia found their hitting shoes in the third, tying it up with a hit by Ashton. And that made it 1-1. So 9 straight here for Nova Scotia. A little bit of an equipment issue here that the umpires have made the Lockyer change her glove. Well, Mr. Mark Healy's gotten to get to know the umpires pretty first name basis by the time that this one is done. Team Nova 1 stretching here. They'll be the 12 o'clock game. They're at the rugby pitch just in behind the center field fence. Swing and a miss there by Ashton. Strike one. 1 strike count here. Lockyer just trying to clean things up here. Try to get Newfoundland on the sticks. They've got a lot of work to do in the bottom of the 7th. But Lockyer just throwing here. Throwing gas, and Ashton didn't want to swing that time. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count here to the pitcher here for Nova Scotia. Began the game in center field. Fires, that one's high, so that evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And that will end the inning. But they managed to tack another 4 onto the board. In the 3rd, and then 2 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th. And 4 here in the 7th to take a 9-1 lead as we head to the bottom of the 6th. And as I mentioned, for Team Newfoundland Labrador will be probably Lockyer in Mazot's spot. Lee and Healy due up here for Team Newfoundland Labrador. Getting ready for our 12 o'clock game, the Nova Scotia 1 versus Alberta. And a couple of Nova Scotia on this field here on opening day. Major League Baseball continues to be a significant contributor to the growth and development of Baseball Canada and its associated programs. Events such as the World Baseball Classic provide exposure for Canada's top professional players while generating valuable media coverage and associated revenue for developmental programs, initiatives such as winter ball programs and all Baseball Canada championships. Visit MLB.com. Team Nova Scotia coaching staff of Jenna Jackson happy just to keep Ashton here to try to hold the fort here. They're in a 9-1 game, leading this one. And Newfoundland here just have Megan Bennett, this center fielder. So it's Bennett, a pitch hitter, and Lee, the three do up. Of course, you're actually allowed to have an extra hitter. The Team Newfoundland started the game with their pitcher hitting, so that's the reason why Hope Bishop Frizzell was allowed to hit, was my understanding. So as a strike there is thrown. Bennett in this game, 0 for 2. There's a ground ball that's hit to short. Duck has it, fires over, and Strong makes the catch, stretching out. And that's the first out here of the 7th inning, the bottom of the 7th. Mackenzie Byrne late now. She's out of Mount Pearl, Newfoundland, 16 years of age. Just for that one, sends it down to third. DeReeb, high throw with a stretch there by Strong once again. So Lee hoping to keep it alive here as Team Newfoundland Labradors down to their there's a ground ball to short. Duck, oh, that took a big bounce. She still has time, throws it over, but on her horse, and it's going to be classified as an error. It had a little difficulty, tricky hop, so you could probably say error hit. I'm not the official scorekeeper, but Maddie Healy, who is now the first baseman, 0 for 2. This one. Throw over. Not in time, but diving back there was Lee. Remember Lee being here in the under-14s representing John's Capitals. And she was here twice because they had a girls championship, and then they had Atlantics, like I believe was an under 11 Atlantics. It was a few years ago. So Lee was actually part of the guys team. So she had back-to-back heads here at the Robert and Joan Linehan Field. So she's pretty familiar with this field. Lee going. Copeland's going to fire it down, and it's on the wrong side of town, on the wrong side of the base. So stolen base was also in the dirt, but nice work by Duck to keep it in front. Keep Lee at second base. So they do have a runner in scoring position here with 2 out. Haley with a slightly close stance fouls that. Nova Scotia players up on their dugout here, waiting to come out and cheer their teammates on. 1 out away from this one being done in our first game of our first game here at Robert Linehan Field. There's the ball. It's Coach Healy tries to show the hands, and well, you see the result of that one. Sometimes when you're at a ballpark, they say nice hands, no hands, and that's the case that time. DeReeb and coach there have a little chuckle. Outside corner, strike 3. And Healy goes down looking, and that's how this one ends. 9 straight runs for Nova Scotia. It took them a little while to get going. They tied the game in the third inning, made it 1-1, and 8 straight after that. They blew it open with 2 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, and 4 in the 7th. And they will come away with this one, a 9-1 victory. So Nova Scotia 2 will go to 1-0. Newfoundland will go to 0-1. The team's shaking hands here, and the wind kicking up as well. We're going to stick around here for the MVP presentation. It's going to be made by some of the players here of the Hammonds Plains Baseball Association. They're on the mound. Vern Aker, longtime public address announcer here at these championships, girls championships, will let us know who the MVPs are here in this one. Maddie Healy will get the player of the game there for Team Newfoundland Labrador. Chrissy Haga, can't disagree with that one. 2 hits in the first inning and then put zeros across the board, and Ashton came in to finish it off. So our second game will feature Team Alberta versus Team Nova Scotia 1. We want to thank everybody for tuning in to 360 Live for the broadcast. For the entire crew here at the Robert Lenahan Field, my name is Dan Hobson. So long for now, and we'll see you at 12 for Nova Scotia 1 versus